Hi there, I'm Mike, and what I have for you today is Fans Toys FT-10 Phoenix, also known as Masterpiece Styled Skyfire. This figure has been a long time coming. If you watched my unboxing of this when I got it 2 months ago or so, I was super excited about it, and I explained that there hasn't really ever been a properly good version of Skyfire. There have been tons of Jetfires, and before you say, Mike, isn't that Jetfire? Well, no, it isn't. Let's go ahead and get him out of this prison. Why did I put it back in here, you say? Because you've seen me open this before. The answer is I don't know. It's my channel, I'll do what I want. So I just want to show you the things that you get in the box. Obviously you get a big white brick of styrofoam that does not want to show up on my camera properly because it's just bright white. And you get instructions, and in the instructions is a little card. Now I haven't opened these. I don't know how good they are. I generally don't read instructions. I prefer to watch online videos because on fancy figures like this, sometimes there are delicate areas and the instructions rarely highlight those. Sometimes they do. But I find that YouTube videos give me a better idea of what to expect, how to do things, I'm seeing it, and if there are any iffy places, to be careful of those places. So it comes with instructions and a card. You know what's weird about the card is I don't care about them. I don't open them up. I don't collect them. I don't put them in a book. I know there are people that do that. But if it doesn't come with it, I notice that. And then I go, oh, it didn't come with a card. So I guess on some level I care, but not enough to pull them out of the package. I just know that I have it. And this stays in the box. Opening up Phoenix from his tomb, his sarcophagus, we get the figure itself. I do have an Autobot logo on him. This is a logo I got from Reaper Labels. This is a sloppy animation logo. This is also how he comes out of the package, sort of half transformed. So I'm gonna get you into how to get him fully in robot mode. Besides that, in here, he comes with a gun, of course. It's actually a very animation accurate gun. It's kind of plain. He comes with two little bits in here. I'm not gonna pull these out because I'm never gonna use them. This white bit right here, that's so you can either take the logo you put on off, because the logo sits on here. This is meant for a faction symbol. And you can take it off and put a blank one on so he doesn't have that in his alt mode, or you could put a Decepticon logo on this so you can switch out Decepticon Autobot logo, because when he first was introduced, the Decepticons found him and he became a Decepticon, and it wasn't until later in that episode that he became an Autobot. So you can kind of reenact that by switching out the logo yourself. It's cool that they gave you two pieces because they didn't have to. It's not something I would have really necessarily thought of if they hadn't put it in, but I'm sure that someone else out there would have, so that's why they did it. The other thing is this blue piece here, and what this is for light piping. The head on here has solid blue eyes. This would give you the traditional light piping. I'm not gonna do that either. It's a lot of work. I like the painted blue eyes over light piping. I just do. And the last thing he comes with is this clear piece. And this is probably my biggest complaint of the whole toy. He doesn't have a lot of accessories. And this is sort of a slap in the face. What this is a flight stand adapter. Fans Toys released a flight stand with their Sovereign, which is Galvatron, their Masterpiece Galvatron. And this is supposed to be an adapter to take that piece off and put this on, so you can put him in his flight mode display if you want to, you know, have him in the air. But I mean, come on. I think this is a $230 figure. You couldn't put $10 worth of plastic in there to give me an actual flight stand. I don't want to buy that figure just to get a decent stand. I'm sure there are other stands out there I can buy. I'm sure there's alternatives. But this figure really should have come with a stand. This feels cheap. I would have rather not had this than had half of a stand. I might as well not have it because I'm not going to have anything to plug it in. Maybe they'll sell the stand by itself. Maybe they already do and I just haven't looked it up. I just felt like that's worth pointing out because it is a negative of this figure, and that might sway people against buying it. It didn't me. I love the figure regardless, and there's a lot of other great things about it, but I do want to show you the negatives because it's not all roses, but mostly. Now that the boring stuff's out of the way, let's get to the figure itself. They had to package it compact, otherwise the box would be gigantic. So let's go ahead and get this in its full robot mode before I talk about it. I think I can do this pretty easily on camera. First, we're gonna pay attention to the legs down here. These little flaps open up down here on the bottom, and the whole foot comes out. This heel pops out. Honestly, if you're playing with this, you can figure it out yourself. This won't be your first Transformer. And if it is, wow, you picked a doozy of a transformer to jump right in. You can unfurl the foot. You can figure that out. I believe in you. And then that closes up. And now you have the foot. And what's cool is you have this rocket booster on the bottom of his foot. Kind of a little homage to the original toy. Just gonna do the other foot real quick here. And now that we have the feet done, what we're gonna do on the back here are 2 silver buttons. And that just pulls it down. And they pop out when they've fully extended. And that gives you a lot more height. Some people don't like that. This figure does that a lot. The next thing is the arms. Pull down. I just gotta make sure they extend all the way. The next thing I want to talk about is the backpack, because a lot of people have actually broken this part, so I wanted to just show you how to properly do this. I haven't had any issues. I've transformed this many times. First, what we're gonna do is unpop the head here, and then just pull straight back. The reason you need to unpop the head is there's a little piece right here that comes off, and what you need to do is pull this back and sort of get it lined up like this, so that when you push it, it goes inside there and clicks right in. And then the backpack's super secure, it's not coming off. So here we have Jetfire. This is held out at normal length. He's taking up the whole frame. This is him against my head. He's just gigantic. I don't really do size comparisons. I probably should, because this is a figure worth it. Can a figure be too big? Probably. Is this figure too big? I honestly don't think so. The plastic quality feels solid. His joints are solid. He has a lot of great posability. I'm gonna gush about this figure a lot because it is easily one of my favorite figures in my entire collection. So let's talk about the actual sculpt of the figure. Is it animation accurate? Yeah. The answer is easily and unequivocally yes. His face, while plain, looks good. It's got a lot of great sculpting. His cheeks are well defined. His nose looks good. He's got that Transformers plain face. I'm not a fan of when Transformers have faces. I like face masks. He looks like he has a robot head, but he's an actual person with makeup on. But that's not Fans Toys' fault. That's not even necessarily this figure's fault. That's just how he designed it. And I think they did the best with what they had. He's got a lot of great sculpting. There's little divots and rivets and cutouts and paint. There's silver on the side, blue, translucent plastic with silver underneath. Before I move on, as I'm going down, I noticed that I messed up his arms here. I didn't mess them up, I just forgot a piece. If you bring the arm up on his double joint here and bring that back down, that will reveal his upper little triangle piece. I don't know what that's called, but I mean, it's supposed to come out. Sometimes it doesn't. It gives him a little more detail on his arm. Moving down, he's got a lot of great sculpted bits. Again, a lot of, I would say minimal paint apps, but appropriate paint apps. It's like 95% white with silver and red highlights. I mean, that's exactly what it should be. Now, if Repro Labels were to release a full set for this guy, would I buy it? I don't know, maybe. I have to see it. As it is right now, I don't really feel like it needs it. I'm not looking at this and saying, man, it's just missing something. It just really needs that Repro Label love. I definitely have figures that I thought that initially right out of the box. I'm not saying they can improve on it, but I think I would be surprised if I felt the need to buy it, because I feel like this is exactly what it needs to be. Let's go ahead and get his gun in his hand. The backpack does make him a little back heavy. You can see he's leaning back here. He has strong feet and heel spurs that keep him upright, but it might be an issue. You do kind of have to watch for that, I guess. The other problem I have is the gun sometimes doesn't like to stay in his hand. Now this has your typical masterpiece weapon hand, and that holds them in. I do like that the hand has enough motion because the trigger is further up and the fingers can spread themselves, so it can get into the trigger finger properly. Like, it looks like he's got his hand on the trigger, which is terrible trigger discipline. You know, he's got double jointed elbows, so you can get a lot of great posability out of it. But yeah, I love him. Do I wish he came with some more stuff? Maybe. I'm sure there's some little thing in the cartoons they could have added on that he had. He just is exactly what I wanted him to be. And that's an animation accurate Skyfire. And it's a giant one at that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the articulation fully. Head is on a swivel and it looks up and down. Arm is on a strong ratchet joint and can move all the way around, but it's hindered by his backpack. It moves out that much. Elbow is on a double joint with this bit disappearing into the elbow joint up here, which is actually pretty cool. On mine, this is really loose. This is super tight. Let's spend a while at the hand. It swivels, it rocks this way and this way. Each finger is individually jointed and can be splayed out like that. Give me a high five. Allowing you to do classic poses like the horns, thumbs up, and everything is okay, as well as the juvenile flipping you off. He does not have a waist joint because of his transformation. My arm's getting tired of holding this thing up. Jeez. Leg moves out that far on a pretty tight ratchet joint. Back, but hindered by his backpack. Deep 90-degree angle single joint. It does move out that far, but that's not a ratchet joint. It's just a friction joint, but it holds it pretty well. He does have an upper thigh swivel, of course. His skirts can move out, and his feet do have a bit of a rocker, forward and backwards. With that being about as far as his feet can spread, with both of his feet flat on the ground in a knee stance. I wish you could see the rest of him. So yeah, I absolutely love the articulation this guy has. He just has a lot of character from just standing there. He has maybe the best hands of any figure I've ever had. He also doesn't really have a waist swivel, which I kind of wish he did. I think I've really gushed enough about robot mode on here. He's tall, I love him, but he's a transformer. And as a transformer, he's got two different modes. And to be a good transformer, you have to be good in both modes. So let's go ahead and get him transformed and see what that mode's like. Okay, let's get the transformation started. My apologies beforehand. This is going to be hard to do because he's too big for my setup. We're gonna do our best. First, let's fold away the hands. They curl up, thumb goes down, sideways, open up the bottom, flip around, close up. Time to fold up the arm. This closes in right here. This is gonna fold this way, and then you close up the arm like that. Next comes the scary part, because people have broken this right here, but if you do this properly, it shouldn't break. What you wanna do is pull from the head right here, and that's gonna release this whole mechanism. And as you pull it back, it will pull right out, and then that closes up. Let's go ahead and turn the head around. Next, these pieces right here fold behind. Next, this comes out. This part right here folds out that way. The crotch piece unplugs. That unlocks this whole thing to come up and straighten out. So this whole piece rotates in. Camera moves up. This piece rotates out and closes in like that. Next, the head is just going to move right in to the middle right there. Next, this piece opens up like this. The nose cone comes out, and a metal support bar comes out here. Double unfolds. This plugs in here. This folds up here, and then this part right here plugs in down here, securing this whole part up here. Now we're gonna do the feet here. First, we're gonna close these feet up. This opens up, the feet collapse in, and we'll close that back. To collapse the leg, unpeg this and pull it up, and that will peg right in. Then we press the back button here to close up, collapse the leg, and there are peg holes in here that we just get them right in there. Then this closes up. So as far as the backpack goes, first this comes up, this splits apart, this back comes out, and everything pegs back together. We pull this back, and there are pegs right in here that peg the backpack down. On the back here, these pop up and the jets come out further. Finally, the wings pull back and they come out like this and then push together. And the flaps come out to give the wing a little more girth. And here we have Fans Toys Phoenix in his spaceship mode. So here he is, and he is massive. Look at this guy. This is me. His wingspan is almost as wide as I am, and that's ridiculous. I mean, I'm a big guy. He just is so big. Is he too big? Maybe. I have a hard time taking pictures with him in this mode because he takes up too much space. I have a hard time fitting him in the frame and getting a proper picture of him. I have to use a bigger table, and that's just a lot of work. Is he perfect? Yeah, mostly. Some things that I wish were a little better. His wings, this part right here, doesn't snap together very solidly and gets out of line very easily. And I wish that were a little more solid, but that's a small complaint, not a huge deal. The way he transforms is honestly not hard. It's something that you can just kind of do and enjoy. Figures that have a tough, complicated transformation are entertaining from time to time, but it's not something you just want to sit down and play with. And it looks good. It makes me wish I did have a flight stand for him. I might pick one up. In general, the way this works out, this was the chest. This also right here was the chest. And these are the legs right here. Underneath, the arms are actually up here in this area, and the head kind of gets down in the middle down here. It's not you can look at it and go, yeah, there's a guy right there. He doesn't really suffer from Silverbolt syndrome, where he's a dude with a plane on his back or a plane with a dude on its stomach. It's sleek, it's thin, the way the backpack expands out, the way the waist and the legs expand out, the way the chest and the arms form this. It's fun, it's satisfying, I absolutely love it. The one complaint some people might have is there's no weapon storage on this mode, which is unusual for a jet. I'm not a big fan of cars with guns on them. That's a common thing with Transformers, where the alt mode will have a spot for the gun on masterpieces and stuff, and I think that looks silly. But a jet should have a gun, and there should be some place to peg this on somewhere, and if there is, I don't know where it is. I haven't seen it. I might be wrong. If I am, I'm sure 100 people in the comments will tell me that I'm wrong, and that's fine. I'll accept that. That's my mistake. But as of the recording right now, I haven't found it, and I haven't seen a video that has it. He's got a lot of great detail. His cockpit does open right here, and there's a seat for 2 little figures. There's a lot of great detail and paneling. If I did any kind of panel lining, I think he would really pop. And I kind of want to now that I've thought about that. Another fun little feature is part of the transformation allows for a little ramp right here. I don't know if that's intended or not, but in the cartoon he definitely had a ramp, and that's how like the Autobots got in, because he is massive in the cartoon. In season 1, this character is how the Autobots transported themselves around. They all piled into him and flew away. One little thing under here, he does have landing gear, which is important. There's little portholes that kind of open up right there, and you can close them back. Same thing here. This opens up on the leg, and these come down. And I like the way that these landing gear are molded. I like the way that they look. It kind of, I'm just gonna try to get that in there. Like I like the way it looks like a jet. It looks. I don't know how to. I just like the way they're angled. It looks somewhat realistic to me. Like that's how it should look. I don't know how to put that into words. I don't know how to verbalize that, but I just think that looks good, I guess, is an easy way to say that. I didn't mention this in robot mode, and I should have. He's got a lot of die cast on him. The feet, the legs. Underneath there's a whole support structure right here, and also in the backpack, that gives him a lot of weight. He's a very heavy figure because there's a lot of die cast in here. This is, in both modes, one of the most secure figures I own. And what I mean by that is the pieces stay where they should. He doesn't untab, he doesn't fall apart. When he's a jet, he's a jet. When he's a dude, and that's it. His arms don't droop, his legs don't sag, pieces don't come unclipped from just kind of normal use. It's super solid. I genuinely feel like this figure belongs in everyone's collection if they collect masterpieces. Now I know not everyone does, it's not everyone's bag, but it's mine. It's mine, and I love it. I'll admit, I'm not the biggest fan of the wings on top and the jet thrusters up here, but you know, that's how it looked in the cartoon. Like, this is exactly what Skyfire is supposed to look like, so I really can't fault it for that. That's a design choice the animators made, and it's something I didn't really notice as a kid, but now that I see it in person, it does look a little weird that like this up here is what is basically propelling Skyfire, like not the actual body, it's his backpack. Yeah, this is good. This is good. I'm gonna give this figure a 4.5 out of 5. I'm gonna dock it half a point. There are some nitpicks that I have on it, like the flight stand is the biggest one. I've mentioned some other small things on here, but that flight stand is alone worth docking it at least a half a point. But everything else on this figure is so good, I kind of want to give it that half point back, honestly. Yeah, I'm gonna do it, 5 out of 5. I love this figure. I don't care that it doesn't come with a flight stand. I'm sure I can buy one, and this figure is worth buying one. Yeah, he's expensive, but yeah, he's good. He's big, he's solid. He is amazing. If I have to sell figures to pay rent or something ever, this will be one of the last ones to leave my collection. If my apartment were on fire and I had to grab a figure and run out, this would be a very strong contender, if not the one I would get, because of just a mixture of how much I love the figure, how long I've been waiting for this figure, and how well this figure was executed. This was my very first Fans Toys purchase. I didn't buy any for a long time because there's always alternatives, and Fans Toys has those fanboys, and the fanboys, the fandom, is usually what kind of turns me off to a product in general. Fans Toys has definitely gained a loyal customer from this figure. I don't think I'm gonna stop doing Gigapower Dinobots to go Fans Toys Dinobots because I like the bigger size of the Gigapower, but I might go back and fill some of my backlog with Fans Toys, and in the future, Fans Toys will definitely be getting more of my business because this is well worth the price tag. So that's it. That's my review of Fans Toys FT-10 Phoenix, also known as Masterpiece Skyfire. Thank you for getting this far. Let me know what you thought of it. Leave a comment, like, subscribe. You know the whole YouTube business that everyone always talks about. But sincerely, thank you for getting this far. Thank you for watching. And hopefully I'll see you next time. Bye.